Forbes just dropped their 2025 list of the most powerful women in sports, and the internet went crazy. The second one name popped up near the top. Sitting at number 4 overall and the highest-ranked athlete on the entire list is Caitlin Clark, the rookie who turned 1 year into $8.1 million and blew up everything people thought they knew about what a female hooper can earn. But here's where it gets messy. A'ja Wilson, who landed at number 15, has been reacting in a way that a lot of fans are reading as straight-up salty. People have been watching her posts, her interviews, her timing, and saying, yeah, she's not happy about this Clark wave at all. So let's talk about why the money, the media, and the Forbes title have turned into quiet tension between two of the biggest names in women's basketball. Real quick, before we dig in, drop your take in the comments. Do you think A'ja's being jealous, just protective of vets, or is the internet doing too much? And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe if you want follow-ups on this story and where this rivalry goes next. Let's start with the money because that's where everything really flipped. The average WNBA rookie checks in around $60,000 to $64,000 their first year. Solid job money, but nothing wild. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, walked into the league with a reported $8.1 million tied to that first season when you factor in sponsorships and deals. Her WNBA salary itself, basically side cash compared to what was happening off the court. While most first-year players are budgeting rent and splitting apartments, Clark was in boardrooms, not just locker rooms, talking numbers that look like small team valuations. That's a different universe. Then came the Nike bombshell. 8 years, $28 million guaranteed. That contract pushed her into a space no WNBA player had ever touched before. Veterans who'd been grinding for years had never seen a single deal close to that size, and Clark locked it down before she ever played a full pro season. That's generational wealth talk. And Nike was just the opening move. Gatorade slid in next, putting Clark in the same conversation as names like LeBron and Serena on the brand side. That's not normal endorsement territory, that's culture shifter territory. Gatorade doesn't just hand out those deals for vibes, they're betting on who can move products, ratings, and conversations. Then you've got Wilson Sporting Goods making her the face of basketball gear across big retailers. Their first major basketball endorsement like that since Michael Jordan. Every time somebody walks into a store and sees her on a ball display, that's brand power turning into real cash and long-term visibility. On top of that, Clark started stacking speaking engagements. Corporate events, conferences, high-profile appearances, pulling in fees that reportedly matched or even passed what some players make in whole W seasons. Companies didn't just want her as the player, they wanted her as the draw, the buzz, the headline attraction. Now look at the numbers around her games. That's where her value really got exposed. Matchups involving Clark saw TV viewership jump multiple times over the usual WNBA average. Networks were suddenly fighting for broadcast rights to Fever games, and advertisers lined up to get their brands slotted anywhere near her airtime. That's big business energy. In arenas, the pattern was the same. Road games sold out, home games filled up, merch tables got raided, and local businesses around stadiums saw noticeable boosts on nights she played. Clark wasn't just hooping. She was turning entire cities into mini economic zones every time she pulled up. Online, her following grew into straight marketing gold. Millions of followers, crazy engagement, every post turning into free promo for whatever jersey, logo, or brand she's attached to. And that's the key. Brands love engagement more than just follower count, and Clark was giving them numbers they don't usually see in women's sports. So when Forbes crowned her as the top basketball earner with that $8.1 million, putting her ahead of stars like Sabrina Ionescu and other big names, it made the gap crystal clear. Companies were paying a premium not just for skill, but for Clark's unique mix of talent, story, and fan magnet energy. She didn't just crack a ceiling, she kicked it open and walked through it. She proved that if a female player brings both performance and personality, the money will show up. And that's exactly the moment where some vets started side-eyeing the situation, wondering why the system never worked like that for them. Now let's talk A'ja Wilson, because her side of this isn't coming out of nowhere. She's a champion, 2-time MVP, face of a dynasty squad. She's earned heavy respect in the league. So watching the media shift its full spotlight to a rookie overnight, that's the kind of thing that can rub anybody the wrong way, especially when dollars and headlines follow. From the outside looking in, fans say the jealousy started showing when Clark's Nike deal dropped. While Clark was celebrating, Wilson went on social media posting about how rookies were getting treatment vets had to grind for over years. She never said Clark's name, but the timing made it feel like a sub, and the internet caught it fast. She started posting old pics with Nike reps, reminding people she's had relationships with the brand too. Then came a run of posts about paying dues, respecting veterans, and remembering who built this league right when Clark coverage was everywhere. Each post on its own, harmless, but stacked together and lined up with the news cycle, it started to look intentional. Her stories turned into a running commentary about hype, media obsession, and who really deserves attention in women's basketball. Fans even started calling it the I have a shoe too phase because Wilson began posting her Nike signature shoe constantly, every angle, every colorway, tagging Nike, bringing up loyalty and long-term partnership like she needed people to remember she'd been there first. Then Time magazine named Caitlin Clark Athlete of the Year, and that's when people really started clocking the difference in how Wilson reacted. Her post congratulating Clark was short, dry, and had zero personal warmth, especially compared to the long, emotional shout-outs she usually gives when other players win big awards. That contrast had fans pausing hard.
At the same time, reports were floating around that Wilson's own shoe sales weren't exactly taking off, while anything connected to Clark was selling out fast. So every time she walked into a store and saw her shoe sitting while Clark-linked gear disappeared, that comparison had to sting a bit, at least on a human level.
Even the speaking gig lane started looking competitive. Wilson suddenly began posting more backstage photos from corporate events and mentioning her appearances in captions way more than she ever had before. It felt to a lot of people like she was trying to remind the world, I get booked too, once Clark's name started popping up in all those business headlines. Her tone online slowly shifted into posting stats about veteran records, long-time viewership numbers, and what real impact and sustained excellence look like. On paper, that's just facts, but the timing lined up perfectly with every new Clark milestone, so fans read it as shade, like she was low-key saying, relax on the hype, let's see it last. By the time the Forbes list hit, people were already primed to see tension. Clark sitting at number 4 overall, ahead of legends from other sports, and labeled as the most powerful female athlete in the game right now was the final spark. For supporters of Asia, it felt like another reminder that the media now treats Clark as the face of women's hoops. And look, Forbes didn't just pull that ranking from vibes. They looked at hard numbers, earnings, endorsements, reach, ratings impact, economic activity, and Clark was at the top in category after category. She drew new fans, raised league visibility, and pushed money into markets that hadn't touched women's basketball before. That's why those boardrooms care so much. For Wilson, it's not just about Clark being good, it's about Clark becoming the storyline almost overnight. Aja spent years stacking trophies and building the Aces into a powerhouse. And now a rookie is suddenly the one getting called the most powerful woman in sports financially and culturally. You can see how that might not sit right emotionally, even if nobody says it out loud. Here's the thing though, none of this has to be pure hate. It can be frustration, pride, and pressure all mixed together. But when fans see passive-aggressive posts, short congratulations, constant talk about hype versus substance, and endless reminders about veteran work, they're going to connect the dots the way they see it. Clark's side of this is pretty simple. She just keeps hooping, keeps showing up, and keeps cashing in on the wave she earned with her play and her personality. She's already pulled new viewers into the WNBA, boosted the Fever's value, and proved that women's hoops can be a serious business driver when the right star is pushed correctly. Wilson can keep speaking for vets, defending her era, and raising valid points about respect. But the numbers are the numbers. Brands, networks, and fans are clearly moving with Clark right now. And that shift is what has everybody watching their socials like it's its own separate season. So what do you think is really going on here? Pure jealousy, normal competition, or just two stars stuck in a media storm that loves drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation is only getting louder. If you want follow-up breakdowns on Clark's next deals, Wilson's next moves, and how this power struggle shapes the future of the W, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next drop. And if you're still here, you're a real one. Click the video on screen and we'll keep this basketball talk rolling.